Hello there, welcome to Real Turkey channel. I greet all of our audiences from this planet and the rest of the solar system. This is your presenter Atilla Yeşilada, and today I'm talking about Turkey's most pressing and also most chronic problem. It's a demographic time bomb called long-term unemployment. And unless the government solves this problem, Turkey doesn't have a future. It's as simple as that. But before I get into the subject and really trash my home country, I love your comments. I would like you to comment on two issues. A, would you prefer longer or shorter videos? B, would you like me to use more charts, tables, and graphs, or is it sufficient that you see my lovely face? I would strongly appreciate your comments because, I'm trying to improve myself every day, and next year you may see me in the NBA draft as a shooting guard or as a guard to be shot. Let's get back to the subject. I'll try to cut this as short as possible because it's a sordid subject. First of all, recent data. Our statistics agency collects monthly data on employment trends. Unfortunately, it lags way behind the real time. We just got July data, which also covers the August survey. How that works, I honestly don't know, but that's what it does. The official unemployment rate is something like 13.5%. These don't mean anything. And any economist would tell you that the world standard in terms of recording unemployment is to exclude people who are able to work but who are no longer seeking work. They may do so voluntarily because, maybe they're home husbands, or they suddenly, got the grand prize in the lottery and they don't need to work anymore, or they are, occupied in clandestine businesses. But mostly, we call them discouraged workers, in the sense that the person knows even if he or she were to seek work, there is none available for her or his skill levels or pay level. And this is the data that's relevant for Turkey. According to my calculations, which I checked by other reliable sources, is that roughly 28% of the active workforce is unemployed. Obviously, there is welfare in Turkey, or a social security system, a social safety net, and these people do receive some income. Unfortunately, unlike United States and many European countries, these unemployment or welfare benefits are not generous. In most of the cases, they are roughly 40% of the minimum wage, which by itself is not enough to feed a family of four. In a smaller number of cases, they are roughly 60% of the pre-COVID-19 average wage. In other words, even though these people are not hungry, their ability to spend, their consumer power has declined substantially. This is one reason why Turkey will not recover. Now remember, this is July data. August data, which will also cover the September survey will get slightly better, because from other indicators we know that the Turkish economy performed fairly well in July and August and started rolling over in September. In August, for instance, we had some tourism. Domestic tourism was rampant. We had 2 religious holidays, or maybe one. I am not certain. And the government pays twice annual bonuses to retirees before these religious holidays, which add to the spending power. But come September, unfortunately, few tourists that have bothered to visit Turkey have gone. COVID-19 cases are rising rapidly, and people are voluntarily locking themselves at home. And Turkey is largely a small company and services economy. And as you would know from your economy, COVID hits tourism, travel, civic aviation, and small service enterprises like cafes, bars, diners, street sellers, etc., etc. And these people will be unemployed again. In essence, roughly speaking, judging by IMF estimates and by the government's medium-term economic program problem. I'm sorry, Freudian slip. Turkey will continue to have double-digit official unemployment until 2023 or so. And double-digit unemployment is really a nightmare. But there are bigger problems than what I've just described if you look at the details of the data. For one thing, Turkey's labor participation rate is extremely low. What the hell does that mean? I'm sorry, what the heck does that mean? In every nation, people who are 16 to 65 are considered potential labor force. But a lot of them don't work. They're married and live off their live off the family income. They are disabled, they are rich, or they're just plain lazy. Doesn't make a difference. In the United States, I think labor participation rate is something like 64%. In Turkey, it's less than 50%. So half the people who are theoretically able to work are not working. And now, if only half the working age population works, and roughly 1/4 of those are unemployed, you imagine how few people feed the rest of this 82 million strong nation. And here the demographic time bomb starts. It has two aspects. A, youth unemployment, which is almost twice non-farm unemployment. B, Turkey's already actuarially bankrupt social security system. And how we're going to pay the retirement wages or pensions of people who will retire in 20 years. This is why I call this problem a demographic time bomb. Because demographic trends are extremely difficult to change. And, to increase the capacity and skills of a workforce takes years. So unless Turkey acts immediately, it will become much poorer in the next 10 years or so. Now, let's give you some details. First of all, almost every social security system in the world is bankrupt, except those supported by wealth funds, simply because people live longer, require more Medicare and Medicaid, but they are very unwilling to retire later. So social security reform is very difficult. Therefore, you have a situation where the average workforce doesn't increase the times of years worked over the years, but each retiree lives longer and draws a larger amount of money from the government or the social security system. You don't have to be a mathematical genius to figure out that this system is not going to work. And secondly, as I've said, look, if you are 70 or 75 or older, keeping you alive is obviously the duty of the state or the society, but it's becoming increasingly expensive. In Turkey, this problem is compounded by the fact that we have very low retirement ages. Essentially, you can retire with a full pension at the age of 55 or even slightly earlier. But the average life expectancy in Turkey is pushing towards 80 years. So you work 25 years, you collect 20 years of salaries. That just doesn't work. Two, there's a simple rule. For a well-funded social security system, you need at least 3 active workers to pay the pensions of one retiree. In Turkey, before COVID-19, this ratio was 2.1 to 1. This is why actuarially the social security system is bankrupt. And it's going to get worse. I'll tell you why it gets worse. Turkey's youth unemployment is something like 26%. That, again, is the official figure. Again, according to official Turks statistics, we don't know where 1/4 of our youth population is. That is, they are neither working nor attending any educational institution. Are they married? Are they, in the black market economy? Have they run away from Turkey? We really have no clue. So the actual youth unemployment rate is probably closer to 50%. And the problem is the average years of education in Turkey is 9 years, and most of it is wasted on value-based courses, such as learning Ottoman or religion or ethics. Don't misunderstand me. I think everybody should learn something about religion, ethics, morals, etc., but not on school time. There are other institutions outside the school that would fulfill that function very well. Turkey's I think this criticism applies to most education systems, perhaps except Finland and some Scandinavian countries. But today's formal schooling doesn't imbue the young kid with the skills she will need to deal with robots, with artificial intelligence, and with a fully digitalized economy. In Turkey, these issues are not even addressed. We're still teaching years of geography, history, and essentially it's all rote learning. That is, you memorize and you disgorge it or puke it out during exams. Analytical skills, laboratory work, and of course, self-initiative are rarely seen. So, given the current school system and the mentality of AKP, which simply wants to raise more religious kids, it is almost impossible to increase the skill level of our young population within the next few years. According to a recent survey by MAC Consultancy, commissioned by a university, 76% of those who participated wish to leave Turkey as soon as possible. That's how it is. You have a country where 3/4 of the younger generation feels neglected and sees no hope in the future of his country. That's very sad. Now, COVID compounds these problems in the sense that in many cases there is remote learning. Remote learning really is a rich man's world. I have good internet connection. Still, 15% of Turks live in villages or remote townships. Internet connection is very spotty and internet is extremely expensive in Turkey. So how are these kids going to reach, remote learning centers? Another problem addressed by the main opposition party, CHP, is that 2 million homes with school-age children and 700 homes, 2 million homes don't have internet connection. 700,000 homes don't even have a TV, or also these remote education programs are broadcast. And according to studies done in Latin America, I read this in The Economist, missing 1 year of school costs the kid, $15,000 of life income. That is, that kid becomes $15,000 poorer throughout her life. In Turkey, the figure is not going to be much different. Given the fact that there is no vaccine and this crisis will continue at least until next summer, Turkish kids will be deprived of at least 1 year of education, while those who had finished school and need to be immediately employed because otherwise they would start forgetting what little they have learned in high school and college, have to wait around for a year with nothing to do. This is the true demographic time bomb of Turkey. We're an aging nation, not a young nation anymore, pressing towards 30. And our young population, which will not only expected to make us richer, but also pay the pensions of future retirees, is neither employed nor employable. Most importantly, they don't want to live in this country. Well, thank you very much for watching me. Please honor me with your comments and visit other Real Turk channel videos. We're expanding our programming day by day. This is Atilla Yeşilada saying goodbye from Istanbul.